I formed a corporation, and I called it the Christian Broadcasting Network, Inc. And I didn't have any money, and a couple of weeks after I'd set this corporation up, at least had written up the papers for it, the charter, we got a contribution of $3. And I remember looking for a bank to open a bank account, and I finally found this big bank that looked like it was going to be a good repository of my treasure, and I took it down there, and I said, I want to open an account, and the lady said, well, do you want a corporate account or a private account? I said, well, this is a corporate account. And she said, well, there's a lady over there that takes them. So I went over. And she said, well, what's the name of your corporation? I said, it's the Christian Broadcasting Network, Inc. And I gave them the name of the officers and directors and all that stuff. And then I figured I was pretty much home free, and she looked at me and said, in matters of this nature, it's customary to make an initial deposit. How much will yours be? And I reached in my pocket and pulled out 3 crumpled dollar bills, and I said, it's $3. And handed that across the table. And then she said, well, you'll need some checks for your account. And so we debated whether to make them green for the color of money or yellow for the color of gold. And I think I finally chose gold and had them imprinted. And then she said, well, that'll be $6. So I was $3 in the hole on my first business transaction. And the bank later brought me the deposit slip. I've got it on the wall here in my office with the $3.
So CBN began with a minus $3.
Minus $3 in the treasury. And so later on, a friend sent me another contribution. I think, again, it was like $35, and that was what I needed to pay the filing fee for the corporation. So on January the 11th, 1960, we got the notice that we had a corporation, the Christian Broadcasting Network. And that's how we began. I went to one lawyer, and he says, well, you'll never walk in the door of the FCC without $500,000, so just forget it, you're foolish. And I said, well, okay, thanks a lot. So I drove up to Washington, and I went to the FCC, and I went into the office of a very nice gentleman, I think his name was Levy, and I said, I'm starting a TV station. I want to buy a TV station in Tidewater, Virginia, and I've got these forms. Would you please tell me how you fill them out? And so he said, okay, and he showed me what to do, and so I thanked him and went home and filled out the forms like he told me to and sent them back in and waited 2 or 3 months. And I called him. I said, well, how's it going? He said, well, it doesn't look like you've got enough money, but we figure you've got it down there someplace, and we're going to give you a license. So with no money, we were granted the first new license in America to broadcast 50% or more religious programs. And it was a first, and it was extraordinary. Today you could no more get a license from the FCC with zero money than you could fly to the moon, but that's the way it was in those days. And I'm very grateful for that wonderful man at the FCC for helping me.